I'm out with Ivy, and we have finally managed to book our grade 1 Gundog test in, and we've been trying to do it since about November time, but just life has got in the way. But we finally got it booked in, so we've got it in a few weeks time, and so I thought we should probably do some exercises to try and brush up ready for that test. So the test involves a grade 1 heel work, sit stay, recall and some retrieving. I don't think she's actually that far off with grade 2, so we could also have a little bit of a dabble with our stop whistle which gets introduced, and some directional retrieving and a memory retrieve. So I might have a go at some of those exercises as well, just to see where we're at, and see how much work we need to brush up on before the actual test. So we shall just give it a go and see how we get on. So to help with our practice, I've set up 2 white posts. I've actually put them about 20 yards apart, which is more than I need for most of the activities for the grade 1, but I figure it's better to have confidence that I can do more than what's required than just be scraping through at the minimum. So I'll post at 20 yards apart, and I'm starting out working on heel work. So for this first bit, I'm just trying to settle her back in. So she has been off lead running about prior to this, so just giving her an opportunity to calm back down and refocus. When we do the test, I will be looking to get her out of the car early and just allow her to wander around and settle into the environment a bit. I don't think we can do it in the area that we're actually doing the test, but just to try and get her switched on and focused. So that's all I'm doing here, just a little slow walk to get her to switch back on. So after that very quick little circuit to settle in, we're now going to have a go at our actual heel work. So the grade 1 test for heel work for hunting retrievers, which is basically the spaniel group, is to walk 15 yards at heel on the lead. So that's what we're practicing. That first repetition wasn't the best positioning for her. She was a little bit in front, but the lead remained loose throughout, and it really wasn't the worst heel work in the world, particularly for a very wiggly spaniel, so that's all right. And as we're coming back, again, lead's nice and loose. She's checking in occasionally, and that position towards the end there is pretty perfect for me, so I mark that with my clicker and then reward her for that one. And then we do one more repetition on lead, which I've just sped up for you, because let's face it, it's a bit boring. And then when we get to the end, I reward her and then I take the lead off, so that we can have a go at the grade 2 standard heel work test. So for the hunting retriever group, grade 2 is 20 yards of heel work off lead. So not a bad attempt there. Hoping that would probably be a pass. I might get a few points deducted for positioning. But she is rewarded for that, and then we turn around and have another go. On this repetition, she does get a bit too far ahead of me, so all I do is stop and bring her back in, just like that, and then we go back to the start of the exercise and reset. That time, much better. And then when we get to the end, I give her a little break, just scattering some food on the floor for her to have a sniff and search for. And then we move on to doing some sit-stay practice. So the grade 1 sit-stay test is to sit your dog up and then walk away 15 yards, and then you are to wait for 30 seconds while your dog remains in the sit-stay. For the grade 2, it goes up slightly, so you increase your distance to 20 yards away from your dog and you have to wait for a minute. So I have sped this up slightly because it's pretty boring to watch me and Ivy stand still. So she was successful in that repetition, which was for 30 seconds. I then rewarded her with the opportunity to move about while she sniffed and searched for some food. Then practice our off-lead heel work back to the next post, and I sit her up there, a nice sit response, and then ask her to wait and walk away. This time I increased the duration and we stayed still for a minute, so we managed to achieve the grade 2 standard sit stay. Her sit stay is pretty reliable, so I wasn't surprised that she was able to achieve this. She has previously done a lot longer, so hopefully that bodes well for our test. And then we move on to the last bit of the obedience section of the test, which is the recall. So for the hunting retrievers at grade 1, you're supposed to be able to recall them from 15 yards away, and from grade 2 you are 20 yards away. So I've walked away at a distance of 20 yards here. I wait briefly just to make sure that she is steady in the sit, and then when I'm ready I blow the recall whistle. She responds immediately to the recall whistle as I expected, and she does unfortunately overshoot slightly, which is a bit of a common issue that we're having, although we are getting much better with it now. So hopefully by the time we're at the test it will have improved, but I'm pretty happy with that. So then we have a bit of a play as a reward. So after that little bit of a play break, we then move on to the final part of the grade 1 test, which is the marked retrieve. So she will be required to do 2 marked retrieves, one at 15 yards, one at 20 yards. Now my throwing is appalling, so I have walked in slightly to throw the retrieve, go back to her and send her out. She runs out super keen, picks it without issue, and then comes back. Now she is still running past me, as you can see, but she comes back and delivers to hand. So we are continuing to work on that. I'm sure we will be docked points because I'm not sure we'll be able to fix that issue in time, but hopefully we'll still get enough points to pass. So that is all of the grade 1 elements. So really it is quite straightforward. 15 yards of heel work, a 15-yard recall, a sit stay for 30 seconds from 15 yards, and a couple of marked retrieves. We will continue to brush up on these exercises over the next few weeks, but I'm hoping we're at a standard that we can pass the test. We did in this session go on and do a couple of exercises from the grade 2 test, but this is probably enough for one video, so I will leave them for another day. And then just one other thing to probably note is that the Gundog Club do the grades for the different breed types. So they have the retriever group, hunting retriever, which is basically the spaniels, and then the HPR group. And all of the kind of distances and durations are slightly different in the earlier stages, and then as you climb up the grades they start to become more job specific. So the spaniels will start doing some more hunting, whereas the retrievers will stick with doing more complex retrieves. So if you are interested, I'll pop the link in the comments below and you can go through to their website and find out a bit more detail about what the test might be for you and your dog if you're interested in taking it. But that is all for now.